to be precise, before we get those grand finalists crowned. And maybe it's going to be the guys that we have here in server, Astralis and NiP. Astralis 2-0 after last night, just like Cloud9. Surprise, surprise. And the Ninjas, a lineup that was being touted as a real contender this weekend. They're going to have their hands full here on Overpass.
They definitely will, and this is the best map, I think, for these two teams to go up against each other on. I love that we do the vetoes so far in advance, that we make sure that nobody's playing a map they don't want to, and it is relevant to both of the map pools of both Astralis and NiP. Overpass is where we fall, and we're off into the pistol. We've got NiP who have stairs control on the T side. Astralis are far back, sitting passively in their positions. One man is getting frisky, that's dupreeh. He can spot all the way down long, but that won't give him enough information to allow his teammates to rotate. Instead, he's got to wait for contact, and it might be Zipex who finds that first.
It was on this very same map where we saw Astralis and NiP actually face off at the previous iteration of Blast in Copenhagen, and the Ninjas picked up that map, Launders. 16-14 of a win. We'll see if they can continue said success. The only time they played it since then would have been versus North, where they dispatched of them. We know have our hands full, but this B bomb site's looking awfully full. And you can still see there is that number 7 man, Get Right, keeping eyes on the flank, as dupreeh could have gotten activated, but it's going to be a big clash to kick off this map. Magisk and Get Right exchanging the frags, but Glaive has the cover of these barrels, and he's doing a good job of popping heads, at least a couple for him. Magisk now, he's the next to strike, and as he drops bomb into the open, Forrest takes it down into the clutch. He checks the flank, and it's there that dupreeh will find him.
Damn, they cut it so close in that situation. It could have been Forrest to spot dupreeh and then fall off, take the bomb, and from that point could have gone to A, made some heinous rotate, or decided to sit on the site, plant really quickly, and force dupreeh to make a choice between whether or not he wants to play that aggressively or not. But instead, dupreeh hits that headshot so quickly, and we don't know if he would have made a rotate otherwise. But it came close, good 1v2 attempt from NiP, but Astralis continue their pistol round dominance and pick up another one to start things off here on the CT side of Overpass. They got to feel good about that one, and Magisk was a huge player in the round we just witnessed. So now we've got Astralis in the anti-eco versus the Deagle on Get Right, but nothing else for any of the other NiP players. It's going to be a congregation of the T's towards bathrooms and long, and Device always finding kind of a passive off angle to work with, playing patrol, making sure not to expose himself too much, and always has backup. This time with 2 players. dupreeh even has his attention split up.
It's going to be Astralis playing active. You know, once Device gets this 5v3 situation, they're confident in their duels. They go ahead and clean up shop. Understanding the split was there. The only remaining question is, where's Dennis gotten off to? He's upgraded into that 1 Deagle. Now he's been spotted, so he's doomed. Mohan, the flank comes in, and the second round's quite easy for Astralis.
Yeah, no problem at all. You know, they, NiP always think very always bring unique concepts to the economy of buys all the time. I think they pushed the meta many, many times where they've done, 1 AK buys, which could have been attributed to the CIS region, who do a lot of like 1 or 2 AK buys, but they were infamous for it. They also did they're also doing this with just the 1 Deagle, and for us it's like, okay, well, they've got Glocks on everybody else, but they've got 1 Deagle, so what is the strategy? And I guess it makes more sense to me than buying 5, which I feel like is just too much of an investment sometimes, and I like that they played it cautiously so they'd be able to afford what they want now. Get Right here. He's got his AK, he was able to buy some of the utility he needed, and the rest of his teammates are feeling okay. So 2 MP9s for Astralis, 3 SMGs in total. No M4s on the board. And significant rifle advantage right now.
Good informational play. Very risky if you don't have that short control. At any moment, the door swings wide, and next thing you find yourself is at a massive disadvantage. But no, they're not going to be punished for it. They are actually going to start rotating those pieces up to the A site, understandably. NiP going to take their time here. Lots on the line, full smokes. Haven't cost them much utility as of yet. They're going to constantly apply a bit of pressure here as they continue to get closer.
Yeah, interesting to have Dennis just throw 1 smoke, kind of a simple fake, out to A to try to bait out some utility in response, and I think he gets that response. Another flash thrown. Like cool $200, and dupreeh definitely wants to take the fight to NiP here, as we can see him being aggressive, but doesn't spot anyone just yet.
Forrest swinging wide. exposing himself into the open, but he gets a response here. Two smoke grenades are down and the corner's cleared. That's a couple of kills quickly between Get Right and Forest. Glaive denied anything further than the one, and they know that Zipex is here. Zipex on the MP9 nearly dropping a second body. What a play that would have been. But it all falls onto Magisk. And as the plant is activated there towards Truck, he's gonna creep himself forward. He's on top of the bomb, but what an awkward situation to be in.
Yeah, he could threaten here by tapping. The smoke's out as well. He could stand far back and try to get on it. It seems like he's not going to do that quite yet. This smoke could guide some vision. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get this one off. Time takes down. He's taking some damage, but the spray from 3 players is just too much. NiP closed that out, and it was a round where they had Astralis had 4 players on A. So,
right.
That was about as good as it got for Astralis. So NiP did a really good job of taking the angles carefully and making sure to maintain the advantage of their AKs.
Right. If it's only Forest or only Get Right to get an opening kill, then there's just more players to try and swing and trade. But you saw what happened when 2 of them died instantly there versus Astralis. Only Glaive could peek. And when he does so, quick one and done. Traded off effectively.
I think Magisk could have thrown that smoke and tried to block the perspective of bathrooms, but then tried to defuse it from a little bit farther back. I feel like he was right on top of the bomb, which is where they spammed initially, but probably could have bought a bit more time if he extended that, what is that, that cord. Just trying to defuse it from as far as possible, basically.
Yeah. His dongles.
His donglers.
Again, they're going to go for the boost. This is nice. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's only risky in a round where you think there's, stairs control being taken, which there is. I guess they just are not going to assume that door will be open, and that's such a big kill. Zipex finds that, doesn't take any damage, even though they found out about it just afterwards. But Dennis comes in for the cleanup. 2-piece for him.
You'd think with the way that he just sprinted forward, maybe they would hear it, but something covers the footsteps, and sure enough, he strikes by surprise, quickly quelled by Magisk. But it's Lekro to continue the success here for NiP, and the young gun's going to throw himself down into the bomb site. That's going to disrupt the plant. The potential for it's there, and nicely done by Lekro. Him securing that kill, well, that's going to activate bomb. Forest feels safe enough to plant now. And the only question is, where's Dupree gotten off to?
Yeah, they do have to worry about this threat, but when they flank through A, through CT spawn, they're going to know it's probably going to be on a delay, and the bomb could take its time and actually move out to A if it wanted to, but they've got 3 people to cover all their angles. Forrest is going to go for an open plant, just make sure he's safe from Monster, and they can sit and wait to see if Dupree tries anything crazy, but it seems like he's not going to do that, sitting here patiently saving. And it's on NiP to decide if they want to try to chase. In terms of money, they aren't going to be in a position where they can throw away frags willy-nilly. And obviously, if you're going into somebody who's waiting for you, you're most likely going to lose at least 1 player. So they don't want to risk that. And NiP pull out round number 2. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. 3 AKs up, so majority buy is still theirs. Dennis and Get Right will buy, and they'll still have some money left over next round, so that's nice.
Already seeing a trend, though, that, I mean, I've never taken note of Astralis consistently throwing in that boost on short, but it seems as though they feel confident in the fact that there is no hyper-aggression in short water. Nothing's flying through that lower tunnel. Nothing's coming out the squeaky door. Obviously, this time they get a kill from it, though, so NiP, let's see if they're more cautious. It could very much slow down a B play.
Yeah, it's a huge call out actually. So it's one of those plays that's just not going to work really well as soon as teams get used to it. But they've done this for a couple of tournaments now consistently. Here more now than you see most times in any single map. But they're doing it on the premise that short control isn't being taken, so they're not hearing anybody run through the tunnel and throwing out a flash over the tunnel to assist. So if somebody did that, that would be a very unsafe boost. So is it a play based on a read more than anything else?
Playing with the Shark Tank here. Astralis going to be swarming the B site, swimming around, and Get Right catches Magisk with his head turned. That's not going to be a good look for Zipex, who falls just on his P250. But he's just gaming this one. He's going to play around the edges of all the utility. He's got the support of Dupree, as you see, the success over the shoulder. However, NiP's still stagnant. No need to rush into these smokes. You don't want to play into the proximity of those pistols, that close range of lethality.
Yeah, see, from their perspective, headshot's the only super dangerous angle, but if they know that nobody's at the barrels, then they can suddenly focus straight ahead or only to their left. So they deny the primary crossfire on the B site, and then after that, they're totally clear to get onto it. So it's good that they took their time with that one angle, and then from there, we see they just explode forward, get the bomb down, and then force the save out of Device, who has a deagle and armor. Definitely not going to go for some kind of retake, but might at least take a fight. I don't know if Lekro gets caught off guard. It seems like he will. Wow, great reaction from Device. And goes ahead and wins himself an AK.
It's a decent prize. He'll take it. You can see NiP active on the hunt, sniffing him out. This is exciting to me, Mohan. If we are going to have NiP starting to succeed on this T side, remember Astralis come into this with some economic investment, and they're already a little shaky here in terms of cash.
Yeah. Again, super strong map for NiP. It's also very, very strong for Astralis. It's one of their claims to fame, I think, to bring them into the #1 spot. You know, this is a huge reason why they were able to do it. So no small threat, but NiP are dealing with them well. And even off that short boost, you know, they got the opening kill in that round.
It'd just be a notable improvement based on the last time these two teams faced off. I mean, in that game at Blast Copenhagen, you had NiP with 4 T rounds before making this beautiful 12-3 CT-sided comeback. So, I mean, to start off already with 3 of those 4 rounds, they're looking good. And, well, they're looking even better this time here. It's just pistols, mostly unarmored. You always know, though, that Device can go off. So this is a round where he may be unleashed. You see him taking the front line towards Party now.
Yeah. Another round where they're not going to invest too much. I think NiP went through the motion of clearing to make sure that that sandbag boost that we saw in the previous round wasn't there, and now they're moving out to A, and will probably treat it something like an anti-eco if they're unsure about how much money Astralis actually have. And they definitely don't have enough to buy, but they've got enough to have a very healthy one next round. So they primarily want to avoid this man right here, Device, and then focus on taking out the pistols. Lekro's going to be fully well aware of the fact that the boost can be on this side, and will continue to clear this, I will assume. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's great. Nice. The totem pole is taken down from head to toe.
Desecrated. And at this point, NiP, full presence of connector control. They're going to find Magis next in line. Just the dirty deagle ready to go. You can see Device sprinting as fast as he can into the B site, and by doing so, he gets here just as the Molotov pops, so he's already on the cross, and Magisk is pulling the attention away. So Device, the second hit, and now another headshot. But as his teammates cleared from the bomb site itself, it falls into the 2v2, but speaking of falling, the bomb is not picked up. This is going to slow down the play and possibly allow dupreeh to come hit them from the side. There's nobody to cover plant here. Get right, he's fully exposed, and oh no! If Forrest can't pick up the pieces in only the 8 seconds left, this is Astralis with an upset.
That's unbelievable. dupreeh just picks the perfect timing. Get right wanted to bait that peek out. He was prepared to get off the bomb and hold again, but he was in animation and couldn't pull it out fast enough, and unfortunately for him, dupreeh decided to walk forward. I thought dupreeh was going to walk forward into his death, and then, you know, we'd have a fun 2v1 with, you know, Device only having 30 or so HP, and it would have been over, but they find that right timing, and that's kind of how the chips fall sometimes. So Astralis steal one back on the eco. Initial fantastic one deeg from Magisk. That starts things off. Yeah, Device got 2 kills, but would he been able to if Magisk didn't shake them up with that initial kill? I don't know.
That's the thing, is when you get that quick headshot, you know that he's positioned, it's being communicated immediately. He is that #1 threat, so you'd think, and Device, because he was so fast on his feet, able to cross over into the other side of Graffiti, as we saw, skewer them on the entry. One after another, they fall. Here comes a quick play out from Device, punished by Get Right.
Get Right decided to do something a little bit different and take a small risk, but don't leave anything to telegraph. Run through the smoke. Maybe he didn't even flash for himself. Device had no idea he had made it that far out. So that's a big opening kill, and dupreeh looks to equalize. We'll just wait to unleash himself. I don't know how long he'll wait, but he's got a head start at the bottom of long now. Get Right, you know, he's got the mind of a lurker as well, and doesn't want to get caught off guard one more round.
Yeah, we praised Device for his fast feet in the previous round, but Get Right goes from short water back through the T spawn and into the backside of this execution as quick as could be.
Oh, look at this. They've got, is he back turned? Yeah, dupreeh. Yep. He hears this. I think he's going to be able to tell his teammates that Get Right's jumping around at long. I don't know. Maybe, no, okay. Well, that's redemption. If you've ever seen it. Yeah.
Goodbye. Next.
I wonder, yeah, he didn't hear the majority of players out at bathrooms. He just heard one pair of footsteps from Get Right, so potentially just not enough information from the place he was in. Could have pulled off a flank if he'd wanted to.
Yeah, if he'd been more active, but very passive behind that rock. Stone cold. Sat there. It's an entire round long.
It's a tough one to call. You saw how lucky he got last round. Didn't want to push that any further. And NiP are picking up just so many rifle rounds here. Fantastic stuff. Zipix, oh my gosh, he has his first opponent. Get Right gets caught off guard. The flash was good, but he jumps out looking in the wrong direction.
I can feel those pieces of stone flying straight at us, Launders.
They're so realistic.
They make me as anxious as I am excited for Blast 2019. 3 spots already announced and a potential for 5 more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice to be here in Lisbon for the first time. Have to say, the crowd's presence this morning kind of blew my socks off.
It's unbelievable, to be honest. Yeah, the crowd here, it's a very dense crowd. It's a very dense crowd.
They're hyped for some Counter-Strike, and they're going to get a whole load of it. Round 3 underway, and round 4 taken here for NiP.
Yeah, round 4 taken for NiP. 2 ops, one on Dupree, one on Device. I expect them to split up in sites. I don't know if Device will take his to... Well, Dupree's got a spawn for a couple of things. I don't think he has the best spawn to pick A straight up. Might do the bench boost, but could potentially go down the stairs. It seems like he's definitely going for the bench boost. Will he see anybody? Doesn't bother dodging a flash. Gets the damage in, however. Force is going to be upset about that one.
Yeah, Dupree looking split. And then sinks back into the safety of the bathroom. So what could have been a pick is instead just some initial damage. A warning to Forrest. Heed his call. But then, like we said, he's gone.
They've got, Astralis have had really simplistic A setups, so I think the double op adjustment makes a lot of sense.
Dennis just got a bit of timing to his favor. You'd think the offset crosshair would be enough to catch Magisk, but no. He is swift in his reset. And so we've got an opening pick here for Astralis, looking to tie it all up at 4.
Dupree moved back, but he doesn't want to. Not sure what Rez knows in this situation. Lekro's now on full alert. Can't tell his teammates there's 3 here. They find a way to get another kill. And Rez spots the jump. The bomb is not in a good position to go A. Very far away at the moment. But this is the site they want to hit.
Well, they have 35 seconds to do so. Utility is dwindling. Just those flashbangs for NiP to try and get across what is such a deadly open area here on the entrance of the A site, and it's only getting deadlier. You see the rotation upwards from Magisk. Standing on wobbly legs as he has 19 health, but he's got the cover of the dumpster. He's got the teammates to support it. Dupree's scope good to catch Rez. Repeat for further damage. No, that's still Forrest up. The first man hit and the last man standing. He's going to be finding himself nothing in this round, just like the remainder of his teammates, because NiP have done 0 frags.
Yeah,
and Astralis.
Yeah, 0 frags in that round. In that round, they saved 2 of their smokes, so they still had utility to spare, and NiP had gotten up to A, but hadn't actually made a way for them to get past that point of the planter, and that was the main issue for them. Easy shots here for Dupree, but that one was nice. I gotta say, I think as one of his sitter, this was a good reaction. Killed him before he had a chance to shoot.
Right, just aware of each step. You know, you had that front runner. He knew that the second player, Forrest, had just dodged a shot. So what makes sense? Third man on long, sure enough, predicts it and dispatches of it. All too easy. That double op pays off, and it's going to be moved forward here into the 9th.
Questions to be answered as to whether or not NiP can be a threat to Astralis. Astralis took out their 2 biggest threats yesterday, Na'Vi and FaZe. Those were definitely the 2 teams that we expected to be able to win the tournament, but NiP, if they played them yesterday, maybe would have been one of them, but them going 0-2,
right,
you know, spoke volumes about their mental state potentially, because no, this is technically Astralis' easier set.
Right, fair enough.
MIBR, Cloud9, NiP, you know, these are the maps they're not supposed to lose. It would be the first time in Blast that a team has won all 5 rounds.
Right, true, that has not happened. Good point.
And they've got a good chance to do it.
Mind you, remember, Cloud9 just seemed to be so activated at Blast Pro Series. Whether it be the format or just a little Danish magic. Still blown away by Refresh, but that'll be a challenge for later. right now. The challenge is keeping up the cash. NiP all in once again. Not many smokes to fake. I think back, seeing as now Rez has thrown out one of the remaining two. Remember when they were just trying to bait out utility from the A site by just peppering them in one piece of utility at a time? They're getting zero response here towards mid, so they have to invest this just to get those feet moving forward.
Yeah,
Take note, bomb still in spawn.
Yeah, this is the value of the ops, forcing them to, you know, smoke off bathrooms, go through everything just to be able to get to the point of execution, and then from there, as you mentioned, you know, what do they have left?
The old balloon boost.
It's a fun boost to do. It's safe to do. It rarely ever nets you a kill. And you also don't have that much information. You can't say anyone's long bathrooms. There's another one, though. That's a lot more effective, a lot more risky as well.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons that Overpass is my favorite map. There are so many boosts all across this place. Some garner you information, other gather you kills.
So what are we about to witness? Again, one smoke here. Device can probably sit here unless the smoke lands in this one specific location. They're going to be worried of a bank. They've got a player at long. They don't have long control as well. Dupree's in a fantastic position to defend.
Right. Gets blinded, so can't hold the initial cross, and two bodies line up for him. That's all too easy as far as he's concerned, but Forrest looking to go down in the history books. Can't manage it. There you have it, folks. It's another cleanup from Astralis. NiP, they're getting to the A site, but in what fashion? Standing out in the open, being caught out, excuse me, without that map control. It's just unfortunately for them, not a very even affair at the moment.
No, not at all. You know, typically you want to have long control. If you're going to hit a number 2, you want to have as much utility as possible so you can smoke banks, so you can smoke CT, and then you don't have to clear stuff. But look at this. I mean, this was just way too easy for Dupree. We can laud how he got 4 kills in this round, but for 2 of them, he had no chance of taking any damage. These last ones were, I guess, the most impressive, and he does come down to 4 health in the end, but he pretty much set himself up for success by playing that spot and then knowing that from his teammate Device, he had cover the entire time. And it looked like a good start from NiP. They started to get on their feet. They won 3 out of the 4 rounds they won were straight up rifles, but it's a different game all of a sudden. Back to pistols, and Astralis can continue their lead.
Oof. Maybe
Kappa.
not just yet.
Kappa.
Gonna take a Rez headshot. Rez needs to be highlighted, particularly on this map, as one of the more impactful players. A 1.20 rating, generally, when it comes to LAN overpass launders. So we'll see if he has to get activated in the follow-up rifle rounds, but this is just the fat on the meat. The easy peasy anti-ecos.
You always eat the fat, right?
Me? No.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they call me scrawny.
Don't waste the fat. You break it open, break the bones open, eat the marrow?
Nope.
You're missing out, man.
Are you a marrow suckler?
Got to. You know, we don't even have a name because it's just most people do it.
You know, marrow's really expensive now that I think about it.
Yeah, so you gotta, you know, you gotta jump on the opportunity whenever you have a chicken bone. Just suck the marrow out of it.
You're a beast. An animal. Poor Rez, he just wants a duel. Man wants to die. He wants to go down in a blaze of glory, but he can't find anything until he emerges to the top of connector, where Zipex is roosted already. So 2-point lead for Astralis, starting to get back what was initially NiP's momentum.
The round they had a lot of success, which was a round where I saw a lot of initiative and explosiveness, was when Get Right ran through the smoke at short B and killed Device coming out of the stairs. That was a good way to start things off. I'd like to see some more of that because I feel like it's going to be, you know, difficult to play Astralis' game and still win. Now, Astralis are giving them a lot of room at A, but because they switched to the double op setup, that has brought them back into the game. It's been tough. I don't know if NiP are going to expect that again, but if they do, maybe they should focus one more time on short B, try to get stairs and steal it away from Magic or Device. And from there, you know, they'll still have a lot more utility than if they want to go through a default to A, assuming there's ops where they'll have to smoke off bathrooms, throw a flash over long, Molotov out the outside of bathrooms, watch for boosts there. I think it's just much harder for them, but they can subvert the defense if they go through stairs and then come up to the top of stairs, where if you do that, then players cannot stand out in the open watching the players crossing to balloons. They have to be able to, they have to fall farther back to the site. And even if no one actually dies in stairs, if Astralis are worried about someone in stairs, that's enough to push players back. So I think finding alternate routes to get to A, if that's the site they want to end up on, that's probably what they need to focus on doing. Maybe starting at the round here with some attention towards short B and stairs.
Well, I do think that it was the double op setup from Astralis that started to get these rounds rolling. They find themselves just with one cannon this time around. It belongs to this man, Device.
Oh my god, that couldn't have been more well timed.
Yeah, he doesn't find any of his peaks.
Oh my god, dude.
Could it not be better timed?
That's unbelievable, dude. Like the two nades, and they know from that Device timed his nade perfectly even though he didn't see the damage.
Man, that is
landing at his feet.
That is a face full of shrapnel. Man's gonna need some braces.
And that's not a 3-2-1, right? That's just two players that picks the best time to throw their nade based on what they felt like they should do.
Ooh. Magis just wanted information. Loses half his health for it. We've got NiP just sitting on the cusp of this bomb site, but what serves as the trigger? Possibly this kill over towards A site. Lekro going to apply a bit of pressure, splits the defense 2 apiece. But this B site looks like it will hold strong. The only real moving momentum here for Astralis is going to be Dupree as he clears out the bathrooms. And the longer that he's able to see that this is clear, the longer the B site's going to be content to hold. You know, sure, Lekro's trying to create a bit of a problem, trying to draw them upwards, but Dupree's going to hit them from the back. They know exactly what's trying to be thrown out here from NiP, and with 15 seconds left, it's not just a 2v4, but it's a desperate one at that. Smokes go down to deny any entrance, and NiP know they are dead in the water.
And they're falling flat at the moment. That was not a great round to look back on, where they had, I feel like Lekro, especially in that situation, 4-4 is trying to pull off a lurk versus a player who's waiting for him. Get right dying after time too, and in a tough spot to even say. That's not the position you want to be in if you're NiP. I really don't want to see that. You know, I feel like with that 4-4, they tried to pull off a lurk, but it seemed like more of a lurk that you would want to pull off if you were down in numbers and you had to even back up. And instead, I mean, it is tough when you start off the round like that. Forrest doesn't even get a chance to play. But after you could have executed.
Thing is, as well, is that all of the time that Lekro is spending on that flank, on that lurk, well, Dupree's doing the exact same thing. And I just feel like Dupree was gaining more information and was playing more actively. So you saw the way that it all just clamped down onto NiP the moment he got the best of their own lurker. But it is Astralis playing so proactive at the moment. They know they're in control of the situation. They're starting to hit them, whether that be with shots or frags, or hell, even both. Again, such an advantage in the anti-ecos. I mean, when they had 3 rounds on the board, I said, NiP, look at them go, Launders. This is going to be an improvement on their 11-4 score of this 2 teams' last matchup. But maybe it's back on the cards.
Back to eco territory, Forrest with the CZ and Flash. And at least a deagle once again for Rez. I don't know how much noise he's been making. Definitely a standout player on the team's not doing too well individually speaking. 3 frags in the map so far. You know, definitely by far and away, I feel like Forrest has been the most noticeable just because he's come back into form so much. But Rez has been the most consistent in the most important moments for them at the big tournaments. It seems like this map has just been a little bit more quiet than normal, but that's a nice 1 deeg to get back into it. Sometimes that's all you need to get your confidence going. Bomb under control of Astralis. They heard Rez take cover in the stairway, and looks like Get Right. Oh, he's not going to get the memo, but now he will.
Speaking of Rez and the impact he tends to have, I would like to see the guy on an op. Unfortunately for him, you know, we've had these more like rifle-centric, lurk kind of counterplays, but no just straight up op duels. And well, Device, we know he's wanting to go for them. And with that one, folks, it is official. Astralis on fire. 5 rounds in a row now belong to them. Might not change anytime soon. We shall see. At least the buy's back for NiP. So if ever it's going to happen, you know, we saw them pick up rifle rounds to start this half. They just need to break through what has been a stellar defense as of late. Mind you, at times I feel like this defense has seemed more like an offense with the way they're throwing themselves now towards Fountain, going for these initial peaks. If it wasn't the boost at the B bomb site to start off the half, it is now very much the opposite side. But not letting NiP get comfortable.
Yeah, I think now they smell blood, and so they're being a bit more aggressive. I felt like NiP's way into the game at first was the fact that Astralis were playing passively, and then they picked up the double op to compensate for that fact. And then now that they don't have the double op, they're starting to be more aggressive in a way that they should have been earlier on. And NiP are a little bit lost for strategy. I just want to see them play a little bit faster, to be honest. I feel like the default fine if that was your game plan. But because your individuals are not shining like they should, if you're going to have players like Lekro moving out by themselves, they have to get a kill. That is what your strategy is. And if that's not going to be the case, maybe grouping for an explode could work a little bit better for you. But these slow defaults out to A have resulted in just looking very inexplosive, falling flat individually, and then getting melted with no utility, with time running out at the precipice of a bomb site, but not actually getting in. And I don't even think that we've seen a bomb plant in a while. The time did run out. The last 5 rounds have been CT rounds where the bomb has not been planted. 3 out of the 4 rounds that NiP won, they did get the bomb down, so it's definitely been a big difference. Ooh, he can spot the tracers, but he doesn't want to take that shot too early.
Right, he just wants to welcome him in. Be a dangerous move for Lekro to make, but he's toying with it. Good flashbang. Enables Get Right to find Glaive as well, so a little bit of short control definitely pushes this Opper into question. Magic's gonna have to reside inside water.
Now let's pay attention to the rotates. They got short control, they have stairs, and this is where they squeeze dupreeh into moving forward. He actually finds a point where Lekro is spamming through a smoke and knows that his aim's displaced. Takes him out immediately. And evens the board one more time. It's been dupreeh on the other side of the map that always gets that trade. Yeah,
it's dupreeh onto Lekro as well. I mean, if he's seeing Lekro alone at A site, what does this telegraph? Does it tell them that yet once again NiP are going for the 4-man B hit with that solo A lurk? Because the lurk's been dealt with. Now they just need to hold back this wave of Ts. And with 10 seconds left, time plays into the hands of Astralis. Magisk tries to stop plant, but that's not going to happen. And while Device has been waiting for someone to cross, he too without a target. But he will get himself a chance at a clutch. They have no idea as to where he's at. And they've already cleared a player close, so maybe they don't anticipate him. He's going to snap one back by surprise as he swaps over to the AK if he can find it. He would have maybe had a better chance, but Launders, poor guy's on a P250.
No gun.
M4 now picked up, finds himself on top of the corpse. He's got the kit, sure, but no smoke. Unfortunately for Dennis, low HP means he is susceptible to death, but at this point it's too far gone. He had one chance, and he didn't seize the opportunity.
Yeah, no chance there. Really nice round from NiP. Good amount of explosiveness. They delayed the hit towards short, but once they got out there, the flash was fantastic. It was actually a bunch of players from Astralis holding onto it, excuse me. So it was, you know, Device on the boost who got blind as well, but then it was Glaive who got isolated while Flash, so his teammates couldn't help him. And then this was fantastic. You know, this is exactly what we want to see. Yeah, they ran the clock close, but they still had enough time to plant comfortably with cover on 2 players. So even though one player dies, their res is right there to make sure that that doesn't get out of hand, and then fair. It's a really difficult 1v3.
I think a significant difference in that round too is the moment Lekro's caught off on the other side of the map. I don't think NiP wasted as much time as they had previously when dupreeh can come down connector and sniff out the entire clear A site. This time he finds Lekro not pushed forward through bathrooms alone, but rather just at the tip of connector, and he has no clue whether there are more players there. I think NiP recognize this and they make the most of their positioning. That close proximity to the B site, the swarm into it. And a 5th round now theirs. So 8-7 still a possibility for the Ninjas.
If I'm them, I have lost so many rounds in a row. I need to get the second one again. I attack the same way I attack the same place in a new way, and just because I know that works the best. I feel very unconfident for NiP if they decide to go to A once again, so like to see them go for short control, which they have right now. We'll see if Astralis can adjust differently. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to make up for what they missed last round, because I think now, you know, they've whittled their economy down quite a bit. They still have a little bit of money in the bank, but a second hit like this could be amazing to bring the half back for NiP.
Yeah, start it strong and finish it strong and just forget about the middle. Got the rounds to make it happen, and this time Lekro will catch a single kill. Excellent flash versus dupreeh, but Glaive now just standing out in the open. That's an easy picking for Forrest. Chops down the entire defense at this A site. That's at least a 6th.
That was awesome. I think it was a team flash, though, that blinded dupreeh, who wanted to peek on the outside of the bathrooms, and I think was just bugging it with a shoulder peek, but then ended up eating the flash head on. I'm not sure. Could have been a different round indeed, and I guess they were relying on the fact that if they pushed onto short control, they'd squeeze dupreeh out into pushing bathrooms like he has been doing, and then they got what they wanted, so they were pretty prepared for it. Maybe would have gotten that kill even if the flash went better for Astralis, but another round solid for NiP. They got the map control they wanted to. This time, instead of focusing on bathrooms first, they go for short control once again. and then they actually throw it back to A, and it was a 2-3, so it was the better site for them to hit. Made that round as easy as possible. Avoided the op is always a really good sign when you see Opera saving, that the T's got what they wanted. And there are a couple kills, but it's not going to be too much of a problem for NiP. They have enough to buy. It's more important that Astralis save there, so you can't blame them for hunting those kills. And in terms of frags, you can see these two players locking down opposite sites. It's Device who's gotten the majority over at B, and then Dupree on the A site when things go awry.
Oh boy, that double op setup so deadly. Back in action for the final and 15th round of the half.
Down.
Again, we get that damage from the same aggressive peak. And Glaive aggressive in his positioning, already up into the corner. Lekro seems to know, but oh man, he nearly cleans up all three. Swift double headshot for the in-game leader of Astralis, and now Dupree's going to capitalize on this. Again, not allowing NiP to get comfortable. They think finally we've dealt with that threat, but the threat still looms near. And Dupree's not going anywhere. He's going to eat a flashbang, which enables Forrest to exit, but keep your eyes on the radar, because Device, sure enough, wants to hit from behind. Simple.
Easy does it.
Too simple. A spinal tap, primary opper. Mr. Lindbergh left up. What you gonna do, buddy? 45 seconds. He's got the bomb at least. It's always a nice place to start. And if he can clear Device, then he can actually fixate on the A site. Problem being, he knows he needs to kill Device before anything else. 1v4s aren't common. They are a masterpiece of beauty when they do unfold. So, Mohan, place your chips. Has he got this?
Astralis.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, it's an open route towards the B site too. If this is a 20-piece puzzle, the first two have fallen into order. He finds Device, he gets an open route to the B site. Third play, plant the bomb, but that's not even going to happen. Zipex on the cross will establish that 3-round lead. It is Astralis 9-6 after their CT side.
And the only reason that the half looks kind of close is because NiP started to figure things out towards the end, and they got those nice 3 rifle rounds to start off the half after losing the pistol. And maybe if not for the pistol, they might even be, numerically in the lead, if that means anything. But I feel like Astralis overall really had a better read on the game. They did a better job of adapting to their own mistakes by picking up the double op to start things off, and then figuring out how to be more aggressive as they moved into the next half, or the next few rounds. And so, yeah, NiP were always playing from behind, I feel like. So even though they had some nice rounds to show for it, it didn't really feel like if the half played out longer that they'd ever be able to get a strong lead. Now we are into the pistol of the second half, and NiP have 6 rounds already. They got destroyed yesterday. They played, I think, was MIBR and lost 16-6.
Yep.
So a lot of us saw that and we're like, okay, well, where does that leave NiP at the moment? I really wonder, and it seems like they may be a little bit better today, but there's not too much we can derive from their result versus another team. Oh.
Flurry of frags here, bottom of connector. CT set scrambling, and oh boy, Rez, he's only getting himself 1. Good trade frag, efficiently putting that bomb down. Glaive gonna call for his teammates to come join him, and they have a bit of a scramble, a bit of a sprint to come through these washrooms. All the while, NiP will get into position for this retake. Now, Get Right has that kit, and he even has a smoke. That always throws things into question. You can really set the T's on a scramble if you also have cover, but now that he's alone, it goes from bad to worse, and he's been spotted. So they are going to swarm forward and deal with him swiftly. That's Astralis with the second pistol.
An insane pistol stat percentage for them, where they won, I think, I want to say 4 of the pistols yesterday, even though I'm not exactly sure if that's accurate. It was either 3 or 4. Now they have 2 more, so that's going to be a big reason why we see them so far in the lead. I think, with this map, it's going to be hard to say that they don't make the finals straight up. It's
right.
The other teams that will have to just win all their games basically in a row, and it leaves NiP almost completely out if they can't pull this one back. But pistols, again, just such a big part of the storyline here for Astralis. So strong on the pistol rounds. 5 CTs in the stairs with pistols. Who do you take, Magisk or 5?
I'm going to say Magisk.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
We saw him with some killer anti-ecos yesterday. Let's see if he can pick up the pieces.
Look at this. He's already done so much damage to them.
1, 2. Hey, you get out of here, Zipex.
Yeah, Zipex, let him work. Let's see. We're trying to figure out. Oh, this is what happened yesterday. Zipex comes in as a cleanup crew.
Listen, after his performance yesterday, he's going to need to pick up some anti-ecos, okay?
The Zamboni of Astralis.
But that's, again, that's the classic, like, mistake minimalization from Astralis. Magisk, sure, he's so willing to try and take them all. But the moment he gets a headshot and he has 15 health, he's just gone. You know? He's not risking anything. He's got too much to lose. So, racks up some stacks, allows Zipex to do the exact same, and it's with that flurry of cash that we find ourselves in the first gun round of this second half. Only one AUG, and it belongs to Rez.
I'd like to see more of them, but I'm at least happy to see one for sure. Ooh, Forrest, that uses a few too many bullets than he'd feel comfortable with if he didn't have to, but he at least gets the 1 kill. 4-3 at the moment. Glaive is low. Get Right just has stairs control behind a terrorist who he knows is out there and is instead going to communicate this and go for a big flank. Yeah. Bomb will be trapped. Glaive doesn't catch Get Right off guard, and he does! What a fantastic reaction. Instant headshot, and he had such low HP as well.
That's a big one. Good ears on Magisk as he flies out through the connector door. He hears Get Right make that step off the staircase. So while Get Right thinks he's sneaky, it was an inevitable death. Mind you, it does have to be coupled with what you said, a fantastic headshot. Glaive's such a liability at that point. Imagine if you have Get Right behind you with the bomb at his feet, and then you have no clue where he gets off to. Big moment. Pushes it down into Dennis and Lekro. Single flash between the two, and only one man on this bomb site. So best of luck, dear Dennis. He'll kick it off with 1, catches the second, and oh so close to that third. But it's Lekro to try and clutch. And he's going to have to play it fast. Like we said, no kit for this retake, but he already does have fast footing behind them. It's a duel straight down the door, and Device will win it. 12-6, they double the score, and Astralis are looking hot.
It was a really cool attempt there from Dennis. We don't typically see him be that amazing on solo site holds, but nearly locked down the 3K spray down, that which would have certainly brought the round back into their favor, even though it was a 4v2 at that moment. So fantastic attempt by him, but once again, look at the awareness by Glaive. Fantastic crosshair placement. Made that shot look so much easier from his perspective than it must have looked on Get Right's screen. Absolutely blew him away. And just brought it right back. And Get Right had that whole time had the option of trying to flank somebody, maybe getting a kill at short, but then being in kind of an expected position. Now NiP have to save. Forrest goes down right away. The team assist flash from the peak to tunnel, but Zipex was not blind. 2 up for NiP in the site. Bomb outside B. 5 Ts remain. And they are working everywhere individually, but carefully.
Calculated and cool. They're going to take the entirety of their half of the map. Get Right in a cheeky spot. Looking to get a little damage done, but Zipex comes wide and clears him. Even with the M4A1S, he has the advantage, and even a second headshot. Lekro tries to escape, and he's clipped from behind. Device now spotting the shadow, gets drawn into the open, and he knows exactly where they're at, so it is all too easy. Again, 5 alive in these anti-ecos, and that's the thing when you're facing Astralis. Like, not only are you going to have to handle 5 individually skilled players, but 5 players who also minimize all those mistakes. You know, when you're down this many rounds, the best way to get back into the game is by punishing mistakes. But what do you do when your opponents don't make them?
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer. I don't have the answers for sure. Yeah, if no one's making mistakes, what can you do? Maybe here's an answer. They are picking up the 2 ops like we saw with that Astralis tried to do to them, which worked really well. A map that is very open to double op setups, not looking like it's not necessarily a Hail Mary for this setup to come into play. I like that NiP are changing it up. Seems like the last point in the half where they'll feel comfortable spending this much money in any single round. So good that they try it now. Can't exactly risk losing this, but even though they won't be able to rack up a ton of dollars from winning this round based on kills, they'll still seal it up and maybe have minimal losses. So what's the play here from Astralis? It's really early into the round, and they've already got short control after taking over stairs as well. This was like NiP at 30 seconds.
Right.
And so Astralis have a lot more to work with. If we look at the nade kits, they've got 3 smokes and a few Molotovs. And because they have so much mobility, it's going to be very difficult if full execute comes in to do anything versus an execute with these ops.
Ollie puts Rez's feet in question, but he's going to linger around. Needs to be worried of that double peek. Hit him from the left and right. Does have Dennis to support if needed. But these guys aren't too comfortable. So falling back step by step. Astralis, we talked about how they get that early B control. They take it and they're gone. Back up to the A site. With Lekro trying to nip at their heels, he pushes short B, and that's going to confirm to him that it seems clear. Enables Get Right to rotate upwards. Dennis in the corner, not checked initially by Glaive, but sure enough, so many targets for him to have to deal with. Good swing out by Rez, just a minimal peek. Enables this consistent trade frag. 4 versus 3 situation turned even further to the advantage of NiP, and this was a turning point. Like you said, the last chance that they could go all in with a nice blossoming buy, and they turn it into a round 1.
Yeah, B was obviously the more promising opportunity for Astralis because of the double op setup, but they didn't know that NiP had 2 ops just yet. They would have found out. And then moving into A was fantastic. It was actually the rifles to get the majority of the kills. Rez popped in there for a nice off flick at the very minimum, but everybody contributed. Even Dennis in a terrible position where he got flashbanged and was not going to be able to get 2, managed the one that he needed. So that was a nice clean round from NiP. Great hold overall. Should bring their confidence back up, and now they can bring those ops into play that weren't even fully used last round.
Rez given a bit more space, creates his own smoke gap, but spots nothing for him to drop. Let's see if Astralis play around with the pacing. Remember, like you said, 30 seconds into the round last time, they already had near full map control.
Yeah, they've already got 1 player working short, and they have eyes out towards Monster, but it's going to be a neutral zone at short B for both the T's and CTs, and now Lekro is trying to make sure that they have the advantage, and I like that they use the op here. Very powerful position. You see Fallen always holding this angle. So common to do so. Lots of cover, easy to fall back, and many opportunities, as well as being able to tell your teammates that they're not setting up for smokes and flashes. So Dennis might be the man at the hour as Device tries to peer over top of the smoke. He is taking this angle very carefully, but will have to just like jump out to try to make it 2 or 3 kills. Will definitely not stop at 1 engagement if the T's come his way, and it looks like they might.
Oh, careful, buddy. Playing with a hot ember. Dennis still in the same corner. Goes unchecked from the first. There's further support already here. Rez on a forward position. Doesn't have the box to dance between. And Get Right needs this reload quick. Cannot finish it off. So he is finished instead. That is Dupree with a double kill. And Forrest inside of the smoke now knows he's going to try to activate because bomb's been cleared. A perfect flank, but it's Zipex in the clutch. He fell flat yesterday. But now the Minister's back in office. Lekro's ready for it. NiP up to 8. And this could be the start of a comeback. It is a comeback that enabled their win in Copenhagen, Launders. Remember, a down 11-4 before they had a 12-3 CT side.
Yeah, and this is a team that in interviews, NiP always talk about how much they want to play Astralis. They actually weren't able to play Copenhagen versus Astralis in the finals because Astralis came short of getting the points to be able to like secure a final spot, but you know, NiP did their parts and unfortunately had the wrong opponent. Here, you know, here's the redemption story. They love playing at Blast #1. They love playing Astralis. So this is the map they, you know, probably hype themselves up for most and expect to shine. And it's good to see that they have something to show on both halves. Really felt like it was going to be kind of a 60-6 like we saw yesterday, but these last 2 rifle rounds are changing the conversation for sure. And that's 2 shutdowns at A is definitely something you want to tally up in your mind because you always look at it from the perspective of the T team who get to pick what site they attack. Where do they go now that they have had those 2 failures? Do they see them as failures in the same way that we do, or do they want to try to take another route to take the site? They haven't actually done long control first off to try to hit A, and they also haven't committed fully to a B. So those are the 2 things that are open in my mind that I'm looking for to see what options will they explore. I think they definitely got close, so I can see why they would expect to be able to win if they tried again. But I also would be surprised if they just changed it up completely and hit the B site. This is something that they do the most, is constantly take short control, constantly execute B. Thought I'd see it more in this half so far, but it's kind of a different game for Astralis. And you know, part of their job is to keep it fresh because everybody's watching their demos. So maybe it's good that they're making sure they're as fluid as possible, but it doesn't seem to be catching NiP off guard.
Seems to me like Astralis are very wary of some kind of aggressive A play at the moment. But they're going to find it open for the taking. I mean, think about how Rez was trying to pluck them off with that op. Now he is gone. Back into the A site completely alone. So NiP anticipating B. Just playing it patient. Double barrel setup. That could be curious.
The difficult part for the B execute for NiP is if the smoke comes down between the barrel and the pillar, where do the rotations go? You know, if they have to move back to pit, that's going to be the #1 spot that Astralis are going to be happy to see them in. It looks like we might have that execute to go ahead and watch. So let's see what the adjustment is for NiP as they have their ops that'll most likely be smoked off.
Frag grenades aren't going to be a part of the equation here, so NiP's just going to walk downwards, but Lekro caught by the flash, and then the pillar's cleared immediately. GetRight's going to give himself a little more temporary cover and holding off between the two smokes with a nice couple of headshots. Dennis chimes in with one as well. There we have it. The initial duels go the way of Astralis, but it's the body count, the numbers stacked up that make the difference here. A 9th for NiP, and they're on the cusp of double digits.
That's crazy. They're letting them into the sites, and the plants are still not coming. They're still shutting them down. So that's insane from NiP. So happy for them that even though it looked like we're going to see like a full-on B execute, Astralis went for the contact explode. NiP were still ready. They had Lekro, Pyro with the op, and then got the most unlucky timing possible, where if he was just a farther back, he could have jumped backwards. But since he was there, had to get flashed and killed immediately. They lost an op, but they were so ready because they had 4 players in total. So it's good to see they win around like that, and it's cool to see that they had this setup prepared even though they didn't have all the information to let them know that that was going to happen.
I think that's a really dangerous setup from NiP at times, because if you ask me, one of the things that kind of, cemented Astralis' grenade usage as being a tier above everyone else was when we started to see those frag stacks into the B bomb site, and most notably right on that barrel's position. It's very easy to just chuck them over the wall, and if Astralis had the frag grenades to do that, I'm thinking you're looking at possibly 2 kills with just grenades. Bodies toppled on top of each other, but it wasn't the case. So they're not punished, and now Astralis will be, seeing as they're off to the back foot here with just these pistols already being figured out as well. So NiP, a little bolster in the confidence, and understandably so. Pieced together quite the comeback, but it's not over yet. Dennis has been tagged up, and he's doing a great job of clearing this all. Looking for the anti-eco ace, he falls 1 short. But it is still Astralis who fall in the end.
This is pretty good. Earn themselves an eco, and it's not just the prototypical overpass that we're seeing in this matchup. I know what these two teams expect of each other based on a lot of the maps that we've seen from them recently on overpass, and it's not. I don't think we're seeing any of the same Counter-Strike. So it's cool to see that they're still keeping it fresh. Some of the stuff feels a little bit looser than it needs to be. We haven't seen many of the full executes that have made Astralis really good on B at taking the site. But they've only gone there a total of twice, I think, so there's still room in the half for them to try it. And that is and that is what they earn by having such a lead in the first place. They can kind of throw out a couple of Hail Marys, see if they can win easily, save some of their stuff on overpass for later in the tournament if they need to. And if NiP push them to that 11-12 round mark, then maybe they have to try their hardest throughout everything that they know they have. And there it is. Lekro here to take first contact, but goes down 1 for 1. Forrest from the short could have been in a powerful spot, but will they expect GetRight?
Yeah, does GetRight get caught? Because he's got a man just behind him. That's Glaive ready to trade, and he sure enough will. Now they've got to get that bomb back onto the site, and Xipex's position could be perfect. You can already see Dennis falling in from the heaven above. Rez a little cautious next to Graffiti. He knows that man could be close, but now it's for sure. Xipex misses a shot, gives himself away, and because of that, I think the bomb goes elsewhere.
That was kind of hilarious to see Xipex, of all people, wait that long as he normally would, but then take the shot at kind of the worst moment. There it is, another opportunity gifted to him, and he does find the bullet with a stray one at the very end of his spray. But here are the footsteps being heard. It's understood that it's going to be a separated 1v1. What does Glaive? No way. He just runs all the way back to B. How annoying can you be? He's smiling on the inside. You can't see it, but he's having a laugh at the moment.
Now Rez, he's just bamboozled.
I'm confused. Why, you don't ever see that. Someone goes from one site with the bomb, plants on the other, and then runs back because he hears you.
Now Rez knows. He's caught chasing ghosts the opposite side of the map. This could very well be the 14th for Astralis, unless Rez comes up with something incredible. Now he's got the utility to make these kinds of clutches happen, can put up the smoke, work around it. Real issue in my eyes is Glaive's just tucked away in this closer corner, and Xipex is not going to move. So there's the shot, and it is, of course, the final frag. Glaive's going to follow through with the damage, the kill, the bomb plant, the dipsy doodle between the A and B bomb site. And this puts Astralis in a fantastic position. The money for NiP is gone.
Yeah, suddenly it's gone after 3 rounds in a row, and the eco, which is most surprising. How did they Do they have poor economic management? Was it the fact that they had the 2 ops initially that made it rough for them? I don't know, but I'm surprised they don't have more money than this. This kind of sucks to be in that spot. They have to make a decision. Do they want to fend off match point, or do they want to play from match point? And it seems like they're going to take the first option. It's two rifles on the board. Rez does not have enough money for anything good unless a gun has been dropped for him that he hasn't reached yet.
He's also got that 850.
No, there's nothing in front of him, so I imagine he just, well, he has armor, so I guess he can get some CZ and a smoke. Yeah, probably the best value for your money at that point. But yeah, this could be all she wrote, folks, if NiP can't win this round. And even then, it'd be a stretch to say they bring this back, but it definitely starts here. Not going to be a lot of money for them moving into round 26. Round 25 is where they need to steal a lot of guns, win with high numbers, make sure that Astralis know they're still in this game.
Thing is, too, I mean, NiP have looked great in the gun rounds, but it's in these sorts of half buys that Astralis get the best of them. Not this time, at least not for the opening kill. Dennis gets up close and personal, but sure enough, Magisk strikes from the top of connector, and he's poised, ready for Rez.
Rez could have potentially watched stairs for Dennis in that situation because he didn't have much else to do, but it's unclear why that wasn't communicated. It seemed like Dennis wasn't sure if he wanted to push or not, and even he goes down. So now it's down to the bigger guns at least. It's 4-3, but Forest will have an opponent and that crispy clean aim.
Wow. Mr. Clean. Forest himself sweeps away at least one of these players. Astralis still at an even count. What's Zipex up to?
Here he is lurking one more time. They don't know how much they have to worry about because they saw 2 pistols, but they know potentially at this point that they're going up against head armored opponents. Not sure if the 2 players who died did have head armor. Forest, again, he has really good long range aim. He could potentially put that kill together. Doesn't find it right away, and Magisk finds an opportunity. So that's it. Clearance into the A site. Bomb will get planted. 10 seconds to go after this bomb goes down. 2 players on the rotate. Not the best position to be in. You would expect they don't think they can win right now, but they can if they're careful.
Unfortunately for Lekro, flanking with a Mag 7. He really wanted that up-close push towards the B site. It's not gifted to him. Instead, he is gifted a swift death. Device strikes from the side, and get right. What are you made of? He's managed to find himself that first one. He's working with the kit, too. Unfortunately, no smoke and an op already honed in on him. Zipex crouches under the bullets and slams that 15th round for Astralis onto the board. It is 5 map points in round 3 of Blast Lisbon. Astralis continuing what is so far a flawless tournament run.
It's going to take more than a bag of NiP magic to be able to, it's going to take an IKEA-sized bag of Swedish NiP magic to be able to bring this one back at this point. 5 pistols here for NiP on Overpass. They kind of threw it all on the line in that last round. And now anything they do will be obvious. It will have a significant disadvantage in every single fight. They at least have a lot of options on this map as opposed to some other map on CT side that doesn't allow you to push so fluidly, so easily. But because Astralis can treat this as an anti-eco, I mean, this is one of the rounds they know how to lock up, and there's 2 kills to kick things off.
Right, they're trying to make plays, they're trying to push and to duel here, trying to make something, disrupt Astralis, create discomfort like what was done to them. But it does not seem to be working unless Rez and Dennis can manage to pull this back, and there's still the chance. But the CZ goes dry, and they know where Rez resided. It was up here towards A. He's back towards the bomb site, and eventually that bomb's gonna have to make its play. This is big. I mean, we expected big things from him on Overpass.
Yeah.
A map where he wasn't equipped with the op all too often.
This could be cool. I mean, here he has some time to think, and he's got a quick rotation to both sides, so he can be in a position to get contact. I don't know. Does he want to play like the full-on post-plant situation, or does he want to try to take contact first? From our perspective, it feels like he might as well peek, but it seems like he's expecting some kind of crazy flank, and unfortunately, he won't be rewarded with that. Standard 2v1 is not going to be easy for him. That smoke is going to activate his presence. The first one Deeg is out.
But it's Zipex. It's Zipex, Mohan, and we know what this man
Oh!
does! And we know what Rez can do! What a banger!
Woo!
Wins out on the clutch, tags him, bags him, and keeps NiP in this. An 11th round for them and 4 to go.
1 point on the line if they're able to make this to 15, but what a point that would be. Fantastic 1v2 from Rez. 4K on the round. I mean, you know, the one in the 1v4 situation that we saw earlier with Forrest is like, I don't know, but with this one, with Rez having that much time on his hands in the first 2 kills to get his confidence so high, you'd think maybe, just maybe he hits him. And what a clean first shot. Device saw his future after that one. Oh my goodness.
Just smashed. You've earned yourself a smile. It's a big play at a big moment. Just to verify, guys, there is no overtime in the opening 5 rounds of Blast events. So this would finish at a 15-15 score. It would at least improve the points of NiP, seeing as they sit on 0 wins, 2 losses. But it's not over yet. We already have Astralis so close to this B site. I don't think GetRight realizes just how close they are. Magis comes in, catches 2 of them. Device even finding that 3rd, and it is just Magis to tear them apart. The young guns go toe-to-toe, and now Rez has way too much to do. It's not just a 4K, it's not just a clutch, but a 1v4 in total. They're clearing out the A site, bombs working down onto B. His Dirty Deeg will try its hand once again. But this just screams an Astralis win. I mean, valiant effort from Rez in the last round. A nice little clip and a little bolster of confidence, but they have just been worked to the bone, and understandably so. This is Astralis. Mohan, it's over. Try and try as he might. It's Astralis with the 16th. Good night. Seemed a little sketchy, but yet again, their dispatching of their opponents one after another. Like we said, FaZe, Na'Vi, and now NiP.